Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, Real Live with the real secrets of money with your host, myself, Damon J. Brockenberry, the extraordinary, also known as Damon the Agent. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today on Friday, January 30th, 2026. This is the last Friday of the first month of the year, and time is flying, you all. First of all, I hope that everyone is staying warm. Majority of us have just experienced a major winter storm that has passed through, and many of us are still affected by this. So I hope that everyone is, first of all, staying warm, and second of all, that you all are being able to eat food and be enjoyable with your loved ones. Okay. So as always, as you all know me, I like to jump into the wonderful world of real estate. So today's topic is the three mistakes first time buyers make in the DMV when they're purchasing home. Now, this is common to a lot of people, not just in the DMV, but I like to specify this particular area because this is where I work at and this is where I'm licensed at. So the first mistake that most buyers make is they shop without getting a real pre-approval letter. And what I mean by that is many people will go online, they'll go on Redfin, they'll go on Zillow, they'll just start looking at homes and they start falling in love with all of these homes. And they'll turn around and they'll reach out to a real estate professional and they'll say, oh, I want to go see this home. I'm thinking about buying. They're like kind of an emotional buyer. They're not really a serious buyer. They're just looking and they really want to see a home. But let me explain something. They'll start touring homes with only an online pre-qualifications. Like, for example, many people are banking with Navy Federal. So Navy Federal tends to give out pre-qualification. It's not an actual real pre-approval. This is why a lot of times people fall into the trap hole when they get a Navy Federal pre-qualification letter. They go look at homes, they make an offer, and then once they submit it to Navy Federal then begins the process of, the approval, and sometimes they run into a lot of hiccups. That's one of the bad things that Navy Federal tends to do. But that is a pre-qualification. Shopping without a real pre-approval can put many buyers into a trick hole because sometimes, because you don't have a real pre-approval, your EMD, earnest money deposit, will come after. Now, in the DMV, sellers want strong, verified buyers. A weak pre-approval, your offer goes to the bottom of the pile. And reality is a real pre-approval means that your credit was pulled, your income was verified, debts reviewed, because lenders do look at your debt to income ratio, just like meaning if you got 3 cars you're paying a car note on, you got 10 credit cards, you got a student loan, all these things are going to be factored into your approval amount. And lender are ready to issue a commitment letter. That's why a lot of times when real estate professionals reach out to the lenders, many questions that are asked of the lender is, how's their finances? Do they have enough for their down payment? Do they have enough for their closing costs? The thing about it is, though, in the DMV, your pre-approval isn't just paperwork. It's your ticket into the door and getting that house accepted. That's mistake number one. Mistake number two that a lot of buyers fall into is they only focus on the price and they don't focus on the monthly payment. And let me explain to you why this is very, very critical when it pertains to purchase a home. Now, the reason why you should focus on the monthly payment more than the price is because everybody's pre-approval and everyone's affordability is totally different. You may be pre-approved for $400,000. Your cousin can be pre-approved for $400,000, but you both have different monthly payments. And you'll say, how is that? Many factors, just like your DNA. For example, your credit plays a role, your debt to income plays a role, your annual income plays a role, and what type of loan you're using plays a role. Whether you're using a conventional loan, an FHA loan, a VA loan, all of these factors play a role in how much your monthly payments is going to be. That's why once you have spoken with a reputable lender and you have gotten the pre-approval straightened out, and you focus on your pre-approval amount, that's why sometimes, depending on your offer, 10,000, 20,000, doesn't matter much as far as what your monthly payment is going to be. It matters much as far as what that purchase price is, but is what your payment is going to be. It doesn't matter. It really depends on all those other factors. Now, what do they say? Why hurts? They end up house poor. Yes, many people end up, they can afford to buy the home, but next thing you know, they get in the home, they can't afford to keep up with the home. They don't furnish the home. They eating ramen noodles every day because they're house poor, and they're shocked at closing because of how much the numbers are saying, how much the monthly payments are. Oh, I didn't know that was going to occur. This is why you have to speak with good, reputable, experienced lenders and realtors so you can know these things before going into a home. You have some pushy salespeople who will try to just hurry up and get you into a home. Those people are only trying to get paid. They could care less how much you can afford or not. We don't work like that, okay? What I tend to do is always put myself in my clients' shoes, and I try to make sure that they're very comfortable with their payments. And I also try to make sure that they're having good conversations with the lender. That way they know how much that they can actually afford monthly. Reality is in PG County versus Montgomery County versus DV, same price equal very different monthly payments. Because you know why? Property taxes are different in all of these areas. It's not the price that breaks your budget, it's the payment. Mistake number 3, waiting for the perfect time instead of the right strategy. Now, many people tend to do this. They always say, oh, I'm going to wait till the interest rate go down. Oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. While you're waiting, the price of houses are going up. And as the price of houses are going up, that's going to affect your monthly payment, whether you realize it or not. See, what people say is they're going to wait for rates to drop. They're going to wait for the market to crash. They're going to wait till next year. But why this hurt is because prices creep up, competition increases, buyer power shrinks, meaning you're only as good as the market you're in. Like currently, we're in a buyer's market. As a buyer, you should be taking advantage of all the opportunities. A couple of years ago, we was in a seller's market. That's why many times people were making offers. It was multiple offers. People was waiving all their contingency because that was the market for the sellers to sell, not for the buyers to buy. And some people bought homes and stuff, and they had to pay all their closing. They waived their home inspection contingency, and they found out the homes had all these problems. Right now is the perfect time to buy. While you're still waiting for next year, you're waiting for the rates to drop, you're waiting for the market to crash, you're waiting for all these prices are going up. See, the thing about it is, though, reality is you can refinance a rate. You can't rewind a price. Think about that. You can refinance a rate. You can't rewind a price. Meaning, if the rate was, let's say, 10%, I'm just going to use that for an example. 10%, let's say the rate was 10%. Do you know after over a year in this area, houses go up on an average of 6 to 8% per year? So in 2 years, if it's at 8%, that's 16%. The house has gone up more than what your interest rate is. But you can always refinance. That's what you have to always take into consideration. This is why some people buy multiple properties, why some people buy no property at all. Okay? Because people are not factoring in these things. Now, I really want you to take these things into consideration. Number 1, shopping without a real pre-approval in this market, sellers don't take you seriously unless your lender already verified your income and credit. Number 2, looking at the price instead of the payment, taxes, HOA, and insurance make a $450,000 home very different in DC versus PG, PG versus Alexandria, Alexandria versus Fairfax, Fairfax versus Montgomery County. And number 3, waiting for the perfect time is the truth is strategy beats timing. You can always refinance later, but you can't go back and buy at today's prices. If you want to buy smart in the DMV, you need the right plan, not guesswork. Okay, so those are the 3 mistakes that most buyers make, first-time home buyers make when they're buying a home. Now we're going to come back with the questions of the day. I'll be right back. All right, y'all. I got some questions for you all today because I got some people who asked me some great questions. And if you have any questions, please feel free to always send me your questions because you're not the only one who have these questions. And you're asking them and me answering them helps everyone to become much more, smarter when it pertains to the wonderful world of real estate. So the first question is, should a seller be prepared to negotiate more now than they would have last year? Should a seller be prepared to negotiate more to be I got tongue tied. I'm sorry. Should a seller be prepared to negotiate more now than they would have last year? The short answer is yes. Okay, in most cases. Last year, the reason why is because they were lower rates, more buyer urgency, homes sold faster, sellers could push price and terms. Now, like I just previously mentioned, we're in a buyer's market. Buyers are more payment sensitive. Homes sit longer. Fewer multiple offer situations. Buyers ask for more concessions nowadays. Now they want everything in the kitchen sink, and they have a right to because guess what? There are more homes than there are buyers. So if there are 10 homes on the block and one buyer, everybody wants that one buyer to purchase their home. So they're willing to give incentive. What sellers may need to excuse me, what sellers may need to negotiate now is closing cost credits, price reductions, rate buy downs, repairs, home warranties. You can still get top dollar, but you may be more flexible on how you get it. And it depends on how you negotiate these things. Okay. Question number two. What leverage do I have right now as a buyer in this market? You have all the leverage as a buyer in this current market, but buyers finally have a leverage again, especially if they are fully pre-approved, flexible on closing date. And the reason why I say flexible on closing date is because sometimes when sellers are trying to sell homes, sometimes they need another home to move to beforehand. And even though you might want to be in the house in 3 weeks, they may need 45 days. Just be a little bit flexible. Most sellers will be out in 30 days or less, but that still needs to be here or there discussed. Okay. Um, Also, with buyers, you need to be willing to look at homes that have been sitting on the market for over 30 plus days, over 60 plus days. And when your finances are in place, you need to be using the FHA, VA, conventional strategically. And that means depending on what home loan you are using, holding a conversation with your real estate professional and lender will help you to strategize on how to negotiate that offer for your best term. Now, buyers today leverage includes, like I said before, negotiating pricing, requesting repairs, contingencies such as home inspection contingencies, appraisal contingencies, financing contingencies, and in some cases, home sale contingencies, because in some cases, even though buyers are buying, they are sometimes selling their homes too. I have a few clients right now that are in that process. And you can also do the rate buy down. Your leverage isn't just your money anymore. It's your flexibility and your readiness. Question number three, on an average, how long does it take to build a home and when should you contact a realtor / loan officer? On average, how long does it take to build a home and when should you contact a realtor / loan officer? This is a great question. Typically, when it pertains in this area, as far as building a home, it takes anywhere from 9 to 6 months. Depends on the home, depends on the area, because sometimes if you're talking about certain price points under, under let's say 800, 900,000, that's the take. Now, when you have semi-custom homes and custom homes, they can be anywhere to a year, anywhere from 9 months up into like a year, year and a half. Again, depending on the structure of the home and the build of the home. Some people money is different than others. Some people have money to spend. So if they got money to build a mansion, of course, that's going to take longer. Now, when is the best time to contact a realtor and a loan officer? Before you sign anything with a builder, it's always the best time. Now, many times I always like to explain this, and I actually was speaking with someone earlier about this, that a lot of times when you're going into new construction homes, the sales rep represents the builder. Their job is to get you to sign and get you to, oh, you don't need a realtor. You don't, we got everything covered. This is new construction, blah, blah, blah. But if you Google the reviews of new builders, you'll see they got a lot of complaints. And I guarantee you over 90% of the buyers who went in there without having a realtor. Here's the thing. It's like you're being accused of murder and you're going into court and you know you are innocent. Do you want to go in there and try to represent yourself, or do you want to get a lawyer? You most likely want to get a lawyer, especially if you know that you're innocent. So here's the thing when it pertains to buying home, especially new construction. It is always best to have an experience, and I like to say an experienced real estate professional to go with you in new construction. Not just anyone who has a license, because they're not going to know the proper questions to ask, and they're not going to represent you. And then you will feel like I could have just came in here by myself. But if you have an experienced real estate professional, then that real estate professional is going to save you money. It's going to save you time. Okay, you get what you pay for in many cases. You walk in there without a real estate professional. Yes, it's new. Yes, it looks good. And yes, you want new because no one owns it. But don't set yourself up. The best time is always before you sign anything, before you choose any upgrades, because they're going to try to woo you. They lure you into these new communities based off the price. Oh, but the key word is starting at. You'll see starting at $399. You'll be like, oh, the homes are $399. Then you walk into the model home. This is their top of the line, all the upgrades. Oh, and then when you go sit with the sales rep, they'll say, oh, yeah, this is a different model. And then when you look at the price, you saw that $399 come in. Now you're talking approaching $489. You'd be like, whoa, hold up. And this is the model. And I'm just being, you know what I'm saying? I'm being nice when I say $489 because it can get higher than that. And before you give a deposit, you never want to sign anything. You never want to choose any upgrades, and you never want to give a deposit. Okay. You want to hire and contact a real estate and loan officer before these things. Now, builders represent their interests. They control the contract. They control incentives. They control pricing. That's why they want you to go in and speak with their sales rep, and they will quickly tell you you don't need a real estate professional. And I'm going to be right here to tell you you do need one. They're looking out for their best interest. And if you don't believe me, Google any new construction and look at their reviews, and look at the Google reviews. Don't look at the reviews on their website. Look at the Google reviews. It's totally different. Okay, because they're going to post you what they want you to see. But look at the Google reviews and you'll see and understand exactly what I'm talking about. Now, understand, as real estate professional, we protect your deposit. We review timelines. We push incentives. We help with inspections, and we go over thoroughly what the contract is about, because you got to understand, you signing on the dotted line, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different ball game. Call your agent and your lender before the model home tour, not after. Before. I know you drove by, it looks nice, you want to go in it. No, call before. It's very critical. Number 4, are buyers more flexible on price or terms in this market? Now, that really depends on the seller situation. It really, the property, it really depends on so much. Most sellers are more flexible on terms, closing dates, credits, repairs, financial help such as rate buy down and contingencies. They're less flexible on big price drop downs unless the home is stale. And stale means the house has been sitting on the market for a while. If a home has been listed 0 to 14 days, it's less flexible. 30 plus days, much more flexible. 60 plus days, very negotiable. Price gets attention. Term gets deals done. Understand that. Now, number 5, this is question number 5. What's the risk of waiting for a better offer? Here's the thing. As a seller, if you're waiting for a better offer, you risk the buyers walking away. You risk your home becoming stale. You risk the next offer that comes in may be worse. And you risk that the market can shift underneath you. Here, these are things, though. Understand, number 1, with buyers walking away, buyers move on emotionally fast. This is why I'm telling you, when you go into new construction and everything, they want buyers to be an emotional buyer to sign real quick. That's why I'm saying you need a real estate professional. So you just don't go in there signing everything away. Your homes become stale after sitting on the market for a while. Buyers assume something's wrong. It's overpriced. You're difficult. This is the concept that most buyers think. Why is that home still sitting so long? They either think the house is overpriced, or as a seller that you're difficult. Your next offer could be worse. It could be lower. It could have more contingencies. It could have worse financing. And at the same time, they could be asking for more concessions. And then the market can shift right underneath you. Right. That means rates change, buyers flee. When they rates go up, they say, hold up, I can't afford that. That's what some of them think. Competition increases and seasonal slowdowns hit. And things happen unexpectedly, like a government shutdown. Today's January the 30th, and they're talking about another government shutdown. So those are some great questions, and I appreciate each and every one of your questions. So I just want you all to know that if you all have any questions, please feel free to come to. Now, I'm going to come with two things, O.P.M. and also with my topic of the day. Real quick, if you haven't followed me, please follow me on all social media platforms. Hashtag Damon the Agent. That is on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. Now, real quick, I want to talk about O.P.M. O.P.M. means other people's money. Okay. People want to know, oh, other people's money. How can I use it? There's many ways to leverage other people's money in real estate and outside of real estate. You just have to understand that when you're leveraging O.P.M, that that requires an investment from you. Even in real estate, a lot of times you're leveraging O.P.M basically by getting a home loan. That's not your money when a lender is lending you that money and everything. You're leveraging, but you have to put some money down, such as a down payment. Also, outside of real estate, O.P.M can be used when you have money sitting in your savings account, you have money sitting in your 401k account, and you're not doing anything with it. It's not gaining you no money and everything. And then when you look at the stock market and the S&P, you wonder how these people are making money. O.P.M, other people's money, but it requires for you to be strategic and everything. So money sitting in your savings account, growing for you as you will want. Schedule a 15-minute Zoom with me so I can go over and discuss some of these things with you. I don't have enough time because I was answering all those questions, but if you really want to learn how to leverage your money that's sitting in your savings, your 401k, your 403b, your 457, anything, reach out to me. I guarantee you, if you just have 15 minutes to chat with me, I can give you a better way of thinking, and you'll thank me later. You might thank me right then, but you're definitely going to thank me later. All right. Now, real quick, I want to talk about, and this has been on my mind for a while, and anyone who's interested in assisting and helping me in this, please feel free to reach out to me. But I'm interested in starting a men's club. It's a men's mentoring club, and it's not like, it is like, but it's not like, meaning my club is going to be totally different. I realized that even though a lot of us men are up age, there's a lot of people over 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Even though people up are those age, mentally, they're still immature because many people have been traumatized at a young age and they have not moved out of that realm of where they've been traumatized. They've been hurt. And at the same time, they're stagnant. And there's a lot of men right now who, unfortunately, are not men. They're grown boys. A lot of men were raised by their mothers. Some mothers, unfortunately, didn't help them become a man. They kind of pacified them. That's why some men, they're in relationship with women, and then they look at women and they expect the women to do everything because they saw their mother do everything. And they don't know how to take the initiative, and they don't know how to do certain things. I'm interested in starting a men's club in which, with my men's club, we're going to read a book once a month, fellas. Just so you know, it ain't about playing video games. We'll get to that. But we got to read a book because you have to take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. See, some people are just focused on finances, but they're not focused on physical. People don't work out. They don't eat right. They don't drink. They drink all the time. A lot of men need to be held accountable. So you can't be held accountable by your woman because you try to manipulate her. All right. And I'm just going to say it. I see a lot of men try to manipulate. They deflect. They deny. They on the defensive. No. This is a men's club where we are all about bettering each other. We're all about growing. We're all about, like I said, having a monthly outing, having a monthly meeting, having a monthly playing basketball or some type of sport activity, whether you're 8 or 188. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to be starting this men's club. If you know of a man, a young man, or anybody who needs to be part of a mentorship, we will be having Zoom calls, once a month meeting, once a month playing basketball. On top of that, we will be reading a book once a month. And we will be, whoever the women or females in our life, we will be catering to them on one particular day, even though women in our life need to be catered to more. But I'm talking about for those guys who don't show appreciation to your mother, who don't show appreciation to your girlfriend or your wife. See, many people don't understand. I wasn't raised by my mother. People always see me with my mother. They say, oh, you take care of your mother. I'm not a mama's boy. I was raised by my father. But see, what I learned at a very young age is without my mother and my father, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be me. And I love me. So if I love me, I got to love the people who brought me into this world, regardless of how I might feel they did or did not do for me. Because there are some things that I felt like, okay, well, why me? But I found out why not me. And see, a lot of times us as people, especially as men, instead of us being leaders, we're too much as followers. We're too passive on certain things. We don't take the initiative to do the things that we should do. And we allow women to do a lot of the things. That's why women are the ones at the front goals of everything. Women are the ones who are buying everything. Women are the leaders of everything. They take initiative because they do. While sometimes the men just sit back and watch the women do, instead of helping and doing what you know that you should do. But see, that's part of the conversation that we're going to be having as men, because anybody who really knows me that I'm real nice and sweet to women, but I don't give a damn about you men. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different ball game. See, I'm real nice. You see the women around me, you say, oh, he's so nice. He's so, yeah, with my daughters, with my mothers, with all my loved ones. But when it pertains to fellas, oh no, I check them. I've always had, because that's just who I am. You know, I've never been fearful of any man. See, growing up, I was always the smallest one. My oldest brother was over 6'5", 300 something pounds. My other brothers was big. You know, we fought all the time and stuff. So I've never feared anyone. But I feel like a lot of men ain't being told what they should and should not be doing. That's why they passive. That's why their lives not going nowhere. They're too busy strolling, looking at all the beautiful women on Instagram, and they never give acknowledgement to their mother or to their loved ones. But we're going to change all that. See, we're going to change all that. We're going to have meetings. We're going to have conversations. You know, I'm going to even get boxing gloves. So people want box. We're going to be, you want box? Get right there. You know what I'm saying? To take out all your frustration. That's going to be my men's club. Okay. For the fellas. Now, again, if you know anybody who needs to be in this men club that I'm going to start, whether they 8 or 108, please let me know. Reach out to me. Also, I'm going to need some assistance as far as people. I already know Kendra is going to be one of them, but at the same time, I have a lot going on myself, you know. So I want to do this for everyone, help all of us to be better people. All right. So that's my men club that I plan on doing. And what I was going to say, outside of that, let me see. Oh, let me do my recap. All right. Do my recap and I'll be right back. All right, y'all. Just a little hype about that men's club. All right. So again, let me briefly go over my topics today. Now, I briefly talked about the 3 mistakes first time buyers make in the DMV. And like I said briefly, that hold on, here we go. Briefly, number 1, shopping without a real pre-approval in this market. Sellers don't take you seriously unless your lender already verified your income and credit. Number 2, looking at the price instead of the payment, such as taxes, HOA, and insurance, can make one home in one area different from a home in another area, and also the loan products that you're using. And number 3, waiting for the perfect time. The truth is, strategy beats timing. You can always refinance later, but you can't go back and buy at today's prices. because in this particular area, houses are going up on an average of 8% or more. That's the average in the area. So, and again, I just talked about my men's club. If you know anyone needing mentorship, I don't care if they 55, I don't care if they 75, because truth be told, I have conversations with people those age and they still sound like they're in high school, you know. And the problem is, us as people, especially black men, we don't like to be told the truth. Can't nobody say nothing to us. We get on the defensive, we're in denial, we like to deflect, we like to put it on somebody else. But we need to be held accountable, y'all. Everybody needs an accountability partner, including myself. We all need to, in order to grow, in order to become a better person for yourself and for your family. And if you ain't gonna do it for you, do it for your kids, do it for your grandkids, do it for your significant other, do it for your mother, do it for somebody. Otherwise, you're just a menace to society. What good are you? Again, let's grow together, y'all. Let's be better together. I want to thank each and every one of you all for joining me. Please follow me on all social media platforms. Again, that's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, Threads, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest. I thank you very much. Follow me on DamonTheAgent.com, and you can call or text me at 240-694-6460. I will see you all next Friday, same time, same channel. I'm staying warm. I hope you all staying warm too. I'll see you all soon. You all have a great weekend.